Warning, this video mentions and/or contains the following: flashing, gore, psychological horror, mental health, panic attacks, heavy cursing, controversial topics. I really need to get this off my chest and be completely honest with all of you. There's this new trend that's been going around called Folk Valley. I genuinely believe this should have never come to be. For those who don't know, Folk Valley is a new horror trend going around media where it starts with a simple, normal video clip. The kind of stuff little kids watch, like some skateboarding vlog or a funny dog video. But out of the fucking blue, it inverts the colors and switches to a straight up gore video. Like sickening gore. Normally, I wouldn't give a shit about internet drama or even get into trends like this, but this has gotten out of hand. It is genuinely sick. Like, I am not one to dislike gore and all things horror. In fact, one of my stupid hyperfixations is guts and the inners of a body. But the issue I have with Folk Valley goes so much deeper than just gore. There's so many things to explain and talk about with this, so please bear with me. I never say the word hate, because I don't believe that hate is a good word to use since everyone has something that's worth loving. But I feel like it's very necessary in this context. I hate Folk Valley. And if you post it or engage in the disgusting shit it encourages, I hate you too. I know this is a very scatterbrained video, but I am very scatterbrained as of the moment I'm making this. I want to try to keep on the general topic, and I am really trying to do that. I apologize because I acknowledge the fact that this video will be difficult to follow. I have some explanation as to why I am so out of it right now, but I am not trying to excuse it. The explanation for the bad quality of this video will be in the description so that it does not take up time here. I am going to try and actually explain what is so deeply disturbing about this trend to me now, but I am still off my rockers, to put it simply. So you can scroll or skip when I get off topic, or you get annoyed with the chaos of this whole thing. My first issue with it, I did mention briefly at the very beginning. It is the fact that most, if not all, of these Folk Valley videos start with clips from the kind of stuff you'd expect children, like fucking 4 to 13-year-olds, to be watching. You know, stuff like funny, gross, cute dogs, skateboarding, a dumb video where a guy slaps a watermelon so hard that it completely breaks. That type of shit. The stuff literally aimed at fucking children. And like I said, out of the blue, midway through the video, when you let your guard down, also known as you're not completely ready to scroll immediately, it inverts the colors and turns into actual gore. Now, I will mention that in many, if not all of these Folk Valley shorts trends, the gore part is likely bad editing or AI. I will get to the specifics on that one later. What I've also seen is people tagging hashtag Folk Valley in videos that are not Folk Valley. In most cases, you'd assume they just tagged the wrong thing, right? It's a simple and easy explanation. Except for the fucking fact that they will say shit like, go to the hashtag Folk Valley tag for cute videos like this. What in the actual fuck? I also want to shed more light on the actual psychological manipulation that happens in these videos shorts. Yes, psychological manipulation. I did not stutter or mistype. That is exactly what I meant to say, and it is, very sadly, completely accurate. This is where a thing I backhandedly mentioned multiple times comes into the issue. The inversion of colors right before the gore. The reason this makes the trend even worse is because of how that sudden shift affects the human mind, causing a worse reaction to what happens after. And in some cases, like mine, it catches the watcher so off guard that the aftermath becomes way too real. Sometimes even ending with actual fucking trauma. I cannot stress enough how disgusting, sick, and genuinely horrid this whole situation is, especially that it's become so much of an issue for me that I felt the need to actually speak up. Since, like I mentioned before, I try my best to stay out of internet drama, controversies, and trends. Like, if I have an opinion, it's just that, an opinion. Something I won't share, bring up, or start debates over unless directly asked. Yet even then, I don't like debating anything, because it always feels too much like conflict to me, and I have too much background with bad fights in my family. I want to mention how the bad video editing and AI-generated gore that I mentioned earlier doesn't make a huge, if any, difference to why I hate this so deeply. Because while some might try and argue that it's not that bad because the gore isn't even real, I have multiple reasons as to why it's still horrible. Going back to the psychological manipulation aspect from earlier, as I had mentioned there, the sudden inversion of colors fucks with the human brain, which makes us dazed for just long enough to notice the gore and not register the fake aspects of it, quoting myself from that section of the video. And in some cases, like mine, it catches the watcher so off guard that the aftermath becomes way too real, sometimes even ending with actual fucking trauma. And if that doesn't convince you that the AI bad editing, I'm pretty sure it's just AI, doesn't matter in this case, then I have a reason why it does matter, but in a way that makes the trend even worse. I know, right? How could this monstrosity get worse? It doesn't add on to the sickening aspect of this in any significant way, but people who are very against AI would argue it does, since, it's pretty common knowledge what generating a single AI image does to our planet, right? Imagine what a bunch of disgusting, sickening AI-generated gore videos is doing, especially since AI wasn't made for such things. I'm now going to mention how I even came across this trend despite my entire YouTube being completely full of art, rants, gotcha, and just stupid autistic shit. The way I found this somehow makes everything feel worse every time I remember how I got to this point. It was early in the morning, only a week ago. My 12-year-old sibling comes downstairs and they ask me to look up Folk Valley when I finish watching what I was on. I did it, naturally, because my little sibling is sweet, and I assumed they just wanted to show me some dumb animation they found like they usually do. God, I wish I didn't. I opened a video. It didn't click to me right off the bat. According to my sibling, I had picked a more subtle one. They were mostly right. I'm not very perceptive anyways. They guided me to a specific one. A dog above a girl. It started cute, kind of gross, but in a funny way. The girl was giving the dog some food by holding it up in her teeth while laying on the floor. I started to see the dog gagging. I prepared myself for something gross. And that's when it inverted, and suddenly the dog was eating the woman's fucking face. I was frozen. I mean, what in the hell was I supposed to do at that moment? How is one even supposed to react when an actual 12-year-old shows them something that was so utterly disturbing? Nobody knows because it shouldn't have fucking happened. The worst part is that when I reacted so negatively, they seemed almost confused. They went on to say stuff like, well, at least you didn't find it in the middle of the night. Which, on one end, they're right. It is very good I did not find that at night, especially since I already struggle enough with night terrors. But on the other end, after they told me how they found the trend, by clicking that fucking hashtag Folk Valley bullshit I mentioned earlier, in the middle of the night, I was so incredibly worried for them. They were tricked into watching that when they should have been sleeping, and knowing my little buddy, they easily fall into internet rabbit holes. What that implies both scares the shit out of me, yet oddly comforts me, because if they went down that rabbit hole of gore, then it explains why they didn't even seem to see the issue, because they likely desensitized themselves. I know that feeling because I've done it many times. The idea of them doing that scares me because I know personally how unhealthy it is and how it can impact your life. Because once your brain is desensitized to something, it's convinced itself that that thing is completely normal and everyone does and or watches it, which leads to difficult situations where they can mess up and bring up the topic. Yet, I find the idea oddly comforting because if they are desensitized to that kind of thing, it can both help them handle emergencies with more rationality and also help them be prepared for the unexpected gore and tragedies that come as life goes on. I'm starting to realize I may have gone a bit off topic. I do apologize, but I did warn you that this may happen, and I will try to get back on topic now with the last thing I wanted to mention about this Folk Valley trend. The last thing that comes to mind, or more like the thing I specifically saved for last, is the amount of times I have been caught completely off guard by this sickness. The first time was obviously when my sibling showed it to me, but this has happened way too many times, and it's getting harder to predict. The whole reason I made this video is because I was sent into an actual fucking panic attack because of how badly this goddamn trend had genuinely terrified me. It has gotten so bad that I have caught myself spiraling multiple times and had to literally convince myself that I wasn't the only one who was seeing these videos. I really don't know how else to explain how genuinely horrible this whole thing is. I hope that more people speak up about this and show how deeply disturbing and actually disgusting the whole Folk Valley trend and its supporters truly are. Anyways, this took a lot of time and energy to make, especially since I haven't been taking proper care of myself for almost a month now, but that topic is for another time. Have a great day, night, evening, and stay chaotic. Farewell, my playthings.